They told the story like it was already settled. The farm had been too much work. The offer had been generous. The decision had been best for everyone. My role, apparently, was to be grateful enough not to slow anything down. When my father pushed the papers toward me, it wasn't aggressive. It was practiced. Like this moment had existed in his mind long before I walked into the room. My mother didn't look at me when she said I didn't own anything there. She said it lightly, almost casually, like reminding someone where the cups are kept. I didn't argue. That seemed to irritate them more than if I had. The drive to the clerk's office wasn't dramatic. No sudden realization. Just a quiet accumulation of small things that had never made sense before. Decisions made without me. Conversations that stopped when I entered the room. The way my work on the farm had always been described as help, never as contribution. At the office, everything felt smaller than I expected. Fluorescent lights, stacks of files, a kind of stillness that didn't care about family narratives. I asked for the deed history. Then probate records. The clerk didn't ask why. She moved through the system with a kind of neutral efficiency, clicking, scrolling, pausing only to confirm names and dates. When the recent transfer came up, she barely reacted. Just another record. Then she hesitated. It was subtle. A delay between clicks. She opened something older, a scanned document. The label was plain, Will. I watched her face change. Not dramatically, just enough to register that something didn't align. She leaned slightly closer to the screen, then glanced at me, like she was deciding whether to say anything at all. "This wasn't filed," she said quietly, "but it should have been." She turned the screen toward me. The language was formal, dated. My grandfather's name at the top. I didn't read it all at once, just enough to understand the structure. Then the part that mattered. The farm wasn't left to my parents. It was placed in trust. My name was there, not alone, but primary. Conditional, but clear. I didn't feel vindicated, just disoriented. All the years I thought I was being included, I had actually been the point. And no one had told me. The clerk explained what she could, that an unfiled will complicates things. That it doesn't automatically override the recorded transfer. That it does, however, introduce a legal conflict that can't be ignored. She printed copies without asking if I wanted them. I took them anyway. On the drive back, the farm looked the same from the road. Fences leaning in the same places. The same patch of trees near the back field. Nothing about it suggested it had already been sold. Inside the house, nothing had changed either. My parents were at the table going over something else. Numbers, probably. Planning forward. They didn't ask where I'd been. I didn't explain. I placed the documents on the table between us. Not carefully, not forcefully, just enough to interrupt what they were doing. My father glanced at them first. Then again slower. My mother leaned in. There was no immediate reaction. Just a pause that stretched longer than it should have. "This isn't filed," my father said eventually, like that resolved it. I didn't respond. He read further. Something shifted. Not in volume, but in certainty. The way he held the paper changed. Less like something to dismiss, more like something that might require effort to explain. My mother looked at me then, properly this time. Not dismissive. Not warm either. Just recalculating. No one raised their voice. No one apologized. The room didn't break open the way people expect it to in stories like this. It stayed contained, quiet. But something fundamental had moved. A few days later, a letter arrived. Not from me, from a law office, formal language. Request for review. Notice of potential claim. That's when it became real for them. Not the conversation, but the interruption. Something external. Something that didn't depend on how they chose to frame things. They didn't bring it up directly, but the way they moved around me changed. Slightly more careful. Slightly less certain, like they weren't sure anymore what I knew, or what I might do next. I didn't push. I didn't need to. The farm still stood where it always had. The fields didn't care whose name was on paper. But the story they had been telling, that I was just passing through, that I had no place in it, that didn't hold the same weight anymore. Not for them. And not for me. We haven't resolved it, not legally. Not personally. But something is different now. They can't speak about the farm without accounting for me. And I no longer wait for them to.